Welcome back to Joe Style of Boxing. Shakur Stevenson retains his WBC lightweight title against William Zepeda. He wins a very wide unanimous decision. I had it much closer. I had it 115-113 to Stevenson. I think the cards were very, very unfair on Zepeda, but the right man won. But it's interesting, you compare this fight to, say, the Subriel Mateus Alberto Puello fight, where Puello was the one hanging on the ropes, counter-punching, flurrying, firing the salvos off the ropes, and yet they gave it to Mateus. In this fight, Zepeda was the one moving forward. Stevenson was the one on the ropes, being the sharpshooter. Didn't do an awful lot for the first 3-4 rounds, but they were giving him the rounds. And I really do think that a lot of this is down to reputation when they talk about subjectivity in judging. And don't get me wrong, I thought the right man won. Stevenson won the fight. But the width of the scorecards, I think a lot of it's down to reputation. Well, Stevenson's a great slickster. And look at the sharpshooting and everything. And, is he doing enough of it? Is Zepeda, with his far less technically proficient, not so well schooled as Stevenson, and yet he's showing a lot of industry, a lot of output. Is he winning rounds? You can have this debate about judging, and it drives me mad. It really does. But like I say, the right man won. Stevenson won the fight. Stevenson, he didn't run. I mean, he hung on the ropes and counterpunched. He was looking good, for little pockets of each round early on, but I was giving the early rounds to Zepeda on, like I say, on output. Both southpaws. Stevenson's now 28. I thought he was younger than that, but he's kind of getting his man strength. And post-fight, he said he's going to go back in the gym and try and put on some, strengthen himself up, just in terms of physicality, because perhaps Zepeda was putting some heat on him. And in one of the early rounds, Zepeda did land a very good right hand, which knocked Stevenson way off balance, almost floored him. But he got up. He didn't get up. He recomposed himself, started firing punches back. Again, he was shoulder rolling and, a little bit of the old Philly shell and all that business. But Zepeda, we know he is a front-footed, come forward, high industry, high output guy. He was still doing that from start to finish, really. His work became more scrappy as the rounds went on. Stevenson began to take centre stage a bit more. Clearly had the superior skills, was sharpshooting beautifully, 2s, sometimes 3s and 4s. Very, very accurate. Zepeda's accuracy waned as the fight went on, and that's where I think Stevenson took over. And some rounds were close, and it was a very competitive fight. But Stevenson just had that little bit more class, that little bit more accuracy, and ultimately more technical talent. Zepeda is a tough guy, not really a one-punch banger. He's got 27 KOs in 33 wins, but he's more of a volume puncher. And Stevenson, he doesn't try to knock you out. His accuracy and his speed is probably what unravels people. He's only got 11 KOs in now what is now 24 wins, but he doesn't need to really knock you out. When you look at he stopped Josh Padley, who was undefeated, but a late replacement, never been anywhere near world class. That was in his last fight. But if you look at the Artem Harutyunyan fight, the Robinson Conceição fight, we're going back to 2022 now. There's another one, Edwin De Los Santos, that was a unanimous decision. He's quite content to go 12 rounds because he knows I've got 36 minutes to get my work done and I've got more skills than you have, so I'm going to, fire salvos and little volleys and, I might take 15, 20 seconds of a round off, but it doesn't matter because I know that my, very flashy, accurate work is going to counter your volume. And that's exactly what happened in this fight. So, like I say, he retains that WBC title. Is he going to stay at lightweight? I would imagine so. Like I say, after the fight, he talked about working on his physical strength. He'll want to stay at lightweight rather than move up to, to bigger guys who can take a punch better, guys who can hit harder. And when you consider the lightweight division, you got Muratala, haven't you? Was it Richardson Hitchens is in the mix? Lomachenko's retired, of course. Keishon Davis has got the WBO belt, I think. Has he got the WBO belt? What's up with Davis now? He missed weight, didn't he, recently? But there are good matchups for Stevenson, and he is very, very talented, very talented. And I thought, maybe a year ago, he was losing interest in the game. He was very sort of go through the motions, but teamed up with Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn has and Matchroom have given him a little bit of a boost, perhaps got him some good opportunities. He must have been well paid for this fight, so I expect to see him in possibly unifications rather than move up to 140. I think the 140 division. Well, we saw Subriel Mateus beat Puello earlier today. Teofimo Lopez is still there. Actually, no, excuse me. I said Richardson Hitchens earlier on, didn't I? Richardson Hitchens is a champ at 140, not at 135. I was thinking of Keishon Davis. But, anyway, look, you tell me who you think Stevenson should fight next. Let me know exactly, let me know how good you think he is, because I think he showed a good variety of work here in this fight. He did spend too much time on the ropes in the first 4 or 5 rounds. I gave a lot of those rounds to Zepeda. Do you agree or not? Do you think the cards were too wide, or do you think it was a sort of 10-2, 11-1 sort of fight? Maybe you disagree with me. Let me know what you think. Comments below. And please, if you did like this video, hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel if you're new. And I'm eager to hear your view. All right. Thank you very much for your support. I always appreciate your support. Always. I always say that, but it's the truth, actually. I do appreciate your support in the channel. And we'll speak again soon. Meanwhile, bye for now.